Before he became a symbol of black pride, before his name was whispered in fear by the apartheid regime, before the world knew him as a martyr of freedom, there was simply a boy named Stephen Bantu Biko. Yo J1. Birth of a Thinker, 1946. Steve Biko was born on 18 December 1946 in Ginsburg, a small township near King Williamstown in the Eastern Cape. He was the third child of Mazinge Matthew Biko and Dora Nokuzu Biko. His father worked as a police clerk, a rare and respected job for a black man under apartheid. His mother was a domestic worker and a housewife, a gentle but strong woman who believed deeply in education. Even as a child, Steve was different. He questioned everything. He refused to accept injustice quietly. Teachers described him as intelligent, curious, and stubborn a thinker even at 6 years old. Hope 2. Growing up under apartheid. Apartheid shadowed every part of his childhood. Black children walked miles to overcrowded schools. They learned from torn books discarded by white schools. They studied under the scorching sun, often without desks. Steve watched his parents struggle. He saw them treated disrespectfully by officials, and deep inside him, something began to burn, a quiet fire of anger and a desire for change. At Lovedale High School, Steve was falsely accused of political activism and expelled. He had done nothing wrong, but the system targeted any outspoken black youth instead of breaking him. This injustice shaped him. Joy 3. The Birth of a Leader, 1960 seconds. University years. Biko continued his education at St. Francis College, a boarding school known for producing sharp, socially aware students. By the time he entered University of Natal, non-European section, to study medicine, he had become confident, philosophical, politically awakened, deeply analytical of race and power. He joined the National Union of South African Students, NUSAS, a mostly white liberal organization fighting apartheid. But something bothered him deeply. White liberals, even with good intentions, still decided the direction of the struggle. Black voices were missing. Black leadership was missing. Black confidence was crushed. Steve wanted more. Black consciousness is born. 1968. In 1968, Steve Biko made a decision that would change South Africa. He co-founded the South African Students Organization, SASO. This was not just a student group. It was a movement, a revolution of the mind. SASO introduced black consciousness, a philosophy that said, black people do not need white saviors. Black people must free their minds first. Black is beautiful, powerful, worthy, capable. Oppression begins in the mind, so liberation must begin there too. For the first time, a powerful black intellectual movement was spreading across campuses, churches, and communities. Steve Biko became its voice, its teacher, its symbol. He wrote essays, gave speeches, and challenged apartheid rules openly. His most famous idea was simple, yet revolutionary. The most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Rove 5. Threat to the apartheid state. By the early 1970 seconds, the apartheid government was terrified of him, not because he carried guns, not because he led armies, but because he taught people to think, to question, to believe in themselves. Black youths, especially high school students, were being transformed by Biko's message. This terrified the regime more than weapons, so the government tried to silence him. Hope 6. Banning and isolation. 1973. In 1973, the government placed a banning order on Steve Biko. This meant he could not speak publicly, he could not write for newspapers, he could not attend gatherings, he could not meet more than one person at a time. He could not leave King Williamstown. They wanted to bury him alive in silence. Instead, his influence grew even stronger. People whispered his words. Students copied and shared his writings. Churches repeated his philosophy. Even banned, Steve Biko remained the voice of a generation. Hob 7. The Soweto Uprising. His ideas ignite a nation. 1976. On the 16th of June 1976, thousands of black students in Soweto rose against the apartheid education system. Though Biko was not physically there, his ideas lit the fire. The Black consciousness philosophy gave students courage and unity. Biko was now seen as the intellectual father of the uprising. This made the regime furious. Coma 8. Arrest and brutal torture. 1977. On 18 August 1977, Steve Biko was arrested at a police roadblock. He was taken to Port Elizabeth for interrogation. He was kept naked, beaten repeatedly, denied medical care, locked in chains, tortured while handcuffed. For 22 days, security police tried to break him. In early September, they beat him so badly that he slipped into a coma. Instead of taking him to a proper hospital, they threw him into the back of a van naked, shackled, and unconscious, and drove him 1,200 kilometers to Pretoria Prison Hospital. By the time he arrived, it was too late. Hob 9. Death of a Martyr. 12 September 1977. On 12 September 1977, Steve Biko died of brain injuries. He was only 30 years old. The government claimed he died from a hunger strike, but the truth could not be hidden. The world was outraged. His death exposed the brutality of apartheid to the entire globe. Leaders spoke his name. Songs were written about him. His face became a symbol of resistance. Gom 10. Legacy. The voice that lives forever. Steve Biko never lived to see democracy, but his ideas shaped every part of the struggle. His philosophy empowered the Soweto students, the UDF, anti-apartheid churches, future leaders, millions of ordinary South Africans. Even Nelson Mandela said, Biko's death wakened the nation. Today, his name stands for courage, pride, mental liberation, Black dignity, resistance, truth. Steve Biko's life was short, but his impact was eternal. He taught people to believe in their own humanity. He taught a nation to stand tall, and even in death, his voice refused to be silenced. Steve Biko came into the world as a child of Ginsberg, but he left as a hero of Africa. The apartheid regime killed his body, but they could not kill his message. Today, every time someone stands proudly and says, I am black and I am beautiful, Steve Biko lives again.